And all of you, the old Satsangis, will remember that Mom and Easy always spoke about this and referred to this. Okay, so now we will begin, as customary, with the school prayer. Over to you, Malti.
Yeah. You can see me, no? And hear me?
See and hear you
hopefully. Yeah, I was just walking, so I had the phone with me. I've just joined. Yeah. Okay. Right. Can you hear me, Uma?
Hear you. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Right. Oh, hidden life, vibrant in every atom. Oh, hidden light, shining in every creature. Oh, hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other.
Now have our interreligious prayers, and we will begin with the Gayatri Mantra.
Right. Om Bhur Bhuvasvaha Tatsavitur Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Shanti 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 Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you, Malti. We now have the Zoroastrian prayer by Freni.
Thank you, Ma. Shri Pak Dadar Auramazdani Madad Hojo Ji Gorje Kore Avadiyat Pak Afshu Neshahe Faredun Vapak Beram Yazet Panabad Ham Jartosh Ti Madadgar Ham Papi Negedar Afshu Neshahe Faredun Vapak Beram Yazet Madadgar Yatha Ahu Vairyo Yatha Ratush Ashachithacha Banghe Ush Dazdau Maningo Shaute Nanam Angyus Mazdai Shatrem Chai Ahurai Aim Drigobyo Dadatavasta Rahem Yatha Ahu Vairyo Yatha Ratush Ashachithacha Vanghe Ush Dazdau Maningo Shaute Nanam Angyus Mazdai Shatrem Chai Ahurai Aim Drigobyo Dadatavasta Rahem Ashem Vahu Vaistam Basti Usta Asti Usta Ahmai Yadeshai Vahishtai Hashem. Sarosh Yazadni Panaho Joji. Thank you.
Thank you, Freni. We now have the Christian prayer by Ramesh.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Now have Gulu Advani with the Sikh prayer.
एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक हो से भी सच सोचे सोच न होवई जे सोचे लखवार चुप चुप न होवई जे लाए रहा लिवतार मुखिया मुख न उतरी जे बन्ना पुरिया भार सह स्याणा पालक होवई त इक न चले नाल किव सचियारा होइए किव कूरे टुटे पाल हुक्म रजाई चलना नानक लिखिया नाल वाहिगुरु जी दा खालसा वाहिगुरु जी दी फतेह बोले सो निहाल सत श्री अकाल
Thank you, Gulu. I now request Mr. Janaki Ram to kindly introduce our esteemed speaker.
Good evening. I am pleased to introduce Reena Sen, who is a law graduate and also she is a practicing CA. She has also served as CFO in the corporate. 18 years ago, she faced some life challenges which made her go on an inward journey. And it was, as she explains, later on she came to know it was divine plan in operation for her to evolve as a counselor, Akashic record reader, and also a workshop facilitator. She is also certified. When I was reading the bio, I was wondering, is it possible for one person to do all that? And there we have Reena Sen right in front of us. So she is a certified magnified healer in shamanism, Reiki healer, Gestalt therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, and she is also a counselor in Kharkov and rational emotive behavior therapy models. I went to Google and read something about Kharkov. Kharkov methodology is primarily based and founded on empathy, congruence, and unconditional positive regard by the counselor in helping their clients to overcome the problems. She is very active now as a practicing CA as well as conducting a lot of workshops and also what is called joy shops. Joy shops. So maybe promoting joy during that workshop. Their workshops are all experiential based and also taking real life situations and helping participants to realize their dreams as well as get their breakthrough in their problems and issues. So we have a very vastly experienced and vastly qualified healer, counselor, professional financial person because most problems originate from finance also. And we are eagerly looking forward to Akashic Records, as Sajani said. We have heard quite a bit during attending Mom and Ijay's sessions, and we are looking forward to knowing more about it in this evening talk. And I'm sure there will be some time we will get during a weekend workshop to more in depth. So over to Sajani.
Thank you so much, Mr. Janaki Ram. And now it's over to Reena, and we look forward to this talk on Akashic Records. Over to you, Reena.
First of all, thanks a lot, like really heartfelt gratitude for giving me this opportunity to share with you whatever little I have been able to gain, gather, understand about the Akashic Records and about what it can do for us, how it can help us in our journey. Because a lifetime is a journey of many things, be it financial, spiritual, emotional. It is all about a journey. First of all, I would also like to clarify one thing, rather dispel this notion that I am a healer. No, I don't consider myself as a healer, and all the various modalities and everything that Janki Ramji mentioned have been a part of my journey. So I have been on a quest for myself and all the things that I have done or gone through, be it Reiki, magnified healing, or any other thing that has been mentioned, has been more a part of my own journey. As of now, if you ask me, yes, I'm a practicing CA for sure. And I also engage very actively in counseling sessions. Yes. Apart from that, yes, my soul work is working with the Akashic records, be it as a reader or as a workshop facilitator. Before I start talking about Akashic records as to what it is and what it can do for us, I would briefly like to just give you a background as to how I stumbled upon it or how I got to work with it or walk with it. So in 2005, I had lost my dad after a 14-year struggle with rheumatoid arthritis. He was a very active man before he contracted this disease and succumbed to it after a very long struggle. He was a mechanical engineer working with the railways, a very simple man, a very maverick man, is how I will put it, because he could create anything out of anything. So he was awarded by the railway ministry for all the things that he could come up with as a, as something new out of whatever was there in the workshop. Even now, the railway workshop where he was a manager still has machines he designed. So when he transitioned after a prolonged suffering, uh, because the rheumatoid arthritis did not just cripple him physically, as in the fingers and all got disfigured, his lungs collapsed. So he passed away because of lung collapse. And despite doing everything, um, I had this guilt somewhere, or I had this question that could I have done something more for him? Did I miss doing something for him which could have healed him, cured him, or perhaps, enhanced his longevity? So, with these questions in mind, and there was another event that had happened around the same time. I had met my ex-husband and I had married him, and he was a couple of years younger than me. So, being a very logical person, I also had a question around why this alliance and why romance, love. Okay, was one thing, but the logical part of me still had this question: why this thing and why the way it has happened? With these two very burning questions or quest, I had gone for a past life regression therapy for myself. And while I was in that therapy session, I was taken into a space of life between life. So, in effect, I had already transitioned the physical body in one lifetime, and I had not taken birth in another life. And during that space, I was I was shown my Akashic record or the soul book. And that had the answer that showed me the reasons of whatever had happened, the insights into the lifetime I had already exited, and the agenda items I had for the next one. This experience was very profound for me because although I had read books by Dr. Brian Weiss and all, but I had never experienced anything like this. And even the therapist was very surprised to find that I was taken into that kind of a zone and given access to the Akashic record. Actually, she told me later on, once the session was over, that actually you were shown your Akashic record. It was your soul book. It resolved many things, and it also raised more questions in different ways. So that was my first experience of the Akashic record of my soul book. And that was in 2008 or beginning of 2009. And from that point onwards, I had this quest that, okay, can I again connect with my Akashic record? So technically, Akashic record or the soul book is a vibrational capture of everything that as a soul, one has gone through, you have gone through, I have gone through across lifetimes and timelines. So today I'm like interacting with you as Reena Sen or whatever, as a CA, as an Akashic record reader, but I have had other lifetimes too. And this current lifetime is a culmination of the choices and the consequences of all the other lifetimes that I have lived through. So the Akashic record is like a audio video, library, or it captures everything, every single intention, action, thought that all of us, each one of us, gone through by virtue of living so many incarnations, whether on planet Earth or maybe in some other star system. But the soul progressively has different lifetimes to experience certain things. And those are the things, the soul's journey across lifetimes, which is recorded, which is captured in the Akashic record. So where is it? It is in the ether. So it is a vibrational library, just like a physical library. This is a vibrational library housing the soul book of every single soul, which has emanated from the source and which is having incarnations, reincarnations, whatever and however you will define it. So it is like capturing what the humanity, what each soul individually and collectively has been going through. So it is the recording of every single event, every single thing that has happened in this lifetime or others. Now, the beautiful part and also sometimes the limiting part is there is no way to prove it, as in there is no physical production of any document that can happen to prove that it exists or this is what is written there. Not possible to do that. But when we learn how to connect with the Akashic record and receive the downloads, understand our journey, it becomes like a Google. The way you search on Google and have answers almost to anything and everything that you're searching for, the Akashic record becomes your soul Google. So whatever questions you have regarding your current journey in this lifetime, one can go and ask it in the records. So that becomes an entry point, that becomes an access point to understanding your own journey in this lifetime. And all of us at some point in time have these questions. Okay, what is my life purpose? Why have I come here? Why me? I guess all of us in some way or the other have asked this question, why me? Like I had this question, why did my dad go the way he did? And could I have done something different? Or why me? Why am I married to a guy who is 6 years younger than me? So we all have different questions. And the Akashic record gives us the answers. It is a portal for us to access the genesis of a particular situation that we are going through, a particular challenge that we are facing, a particular gift that we have. So the Akashic record can give you anything and everything which is related to your own soul's journey. That is like the main definition or the main way I have received it, used it, and seen it being used by others. So it is the universal consciousness reservoir which we access through our own records. So it is like a supercomputer. The universal consciousness, if you take it as a supercomputer, then each one of us has an access to it by the login and password. That is actually your own soul book or your own soul record, your own journey. Because the universal consciousness is the sum total reservoir of everything that we are. All of us are together. So one is collective consciousness, which is like the reality that we are a part of in the here and now. And then there is this universal reservoir of wisdom, which is like the sum total of all Akashic records being pooled in. So the Akashic record, very simply, is the capture of everything that you've ever thought, done, intended in any lifetime, in any timeline. Now, can anybody access it? Or is there there are special criteria, only specific people can access it, work with it, understand it? The way, again, the journey that I have had so far from 2014 onwards, that was the first year when I learned level 1 and I started doing sessions for people. The intention was never to get into the reading as a reader or to become a facilitator. At that point in time, the very selfish reason for going to Bhavya's workshop was to understand my own journey and to figure out my own quest. That is the reason why I had gone to attend the workshop. And then over the years, while this work has happened, it has happened very organically. Like, people have recommended to other people because they could figure out and resolve certain things for themselves. So in 2014, when I first time learned how to access the records, it was like, wow, now I have a key. I have the access where I can go and understand my own journey. We were supposed to do a month-long seva, like free gift sessions for people. And at that point in time, I was like, I don't know what she wants us to do. I don't know whether I can do it, because the people who are in my life, I know them, right? I know their basic nature, the kind of journeys they are having. What will I really add on to them? How will it really help them? It has helped me fine, but doing it for somebody else, I was very skeptical. But then the universe, there has been a lot of kindness from the universe. Grace has worked its own magic. And I found that every session was unique, was blessed, and was a blessing, because people could make out and understand their journey by virtue of the disclosures that happened, the the genesis being shown, that if you are in a particular struggle or in a particular difficult situation, where has it started? And also they were shown how to mitigate it. How can you close it? That's the way it all started. So over the years, when the sessions happen, one thing which unerringly has been happening in the sessions as well as in the workshops is that once the genesis is understood, people mostly can no longer remain a victim. You know, why me? Why is my mother-in-law the way she is? Or why is my whatever the relationship struggle is? When a genesis is shared that this is the cause which is leading to this effect, magically somehow it does make sense to the person who has come for the reading. I used to wonder, I can give no proof, and unlike a PLR session, I can't even give the experience of it to the client. It is only my narrative. Whatever I am being shown, I am going to share that with the client. So how will I convince the client? Why will the client believe me in the first place? But that's the magic of a reading with the Akashic record or the work with the Akashic record. Somehow the words that are given resonates with the client. The narrative that is shown and shared makes sense to them. And then they are able to open up to see what are the remedies that can be worked with to close a particular unfinished contract with someone, the other soul. Let me give an example. Maybe that will be more beneficial. Like, there was this one lady who came and she was like, I have this ongoing, very tiring conversations with my mother-in-law. As in, she's very critical of everything that I do or do not do. And she comes from a good business house where resources are not a constraint. and she is doing what she can and is supposed to, and yet there was this constant friction. So while we did the session, she was shown how in certain other lifetime the same mother-in-law has been her mother, and there were certain contracts from that lifetime where she was meant to do certain things for her mother-in-law, the same soul in this lifetime. And when the whole narrative was shared, it collapsed something in a reality. So much so that couple of weeks down the line, we were having conversation about something else, and she was like, I don't know whether the session helped because I still get triggered by my mother-in-law. I was like, okay, but I was prompted to ask, so how long, like the earlier upsets that you used to have, or now the upset that you have, what is the difference? Is there any difference in that? And she's like, yeah, earlier I used to be impacted by her words or the upset by for maybe 2 to 3 days. I would sulk or I would, feel very unappreciated, and I would be in a low energy for 3 days, 2 to 3 days. And now what happens is, yeah, in 2 to 3 hours, I'm able to get out of that upset or look at it in a different way. I remind myself what was shared with me, and I'm able to get out of that upset. So it doesn't, kind of prolong for 2 to 3 days. When she said that, I was like, I would have smiled, and there was a pause from my side. We were on an audio call, so she couldn't see me, but she sensed. And then she herself said, you know what? I realized, yeah, something has shifted. I'm not really that triggered by her anymore. And yeah, like I used to be upset for 2 to 3 days, and now I'm able to get out of it in 2 to 3 hours. So she herself could then see that something has shifted in her reality where her mother-in-law is concerned. There are many such inputs or insights that are shared by the client post a session, which is very heartening to know because it opens up a new possibility for the person. Where earlier something was in black and white, when they get to know the kind of things a soul has, as a soul, that person has done in some other lifetime, and it is like unfinished business from there, or a payback time, or squaring up of debts. It gives a perspective to things that are happening now. It no longer feels like, oh, they're after me because they are bad. So as I said, we have all been saints and we have all been sinners in different lifetimes in different ways. And a reading or connecting with the records helps us to see that with compassion for ourselves and also for others, because we realize, okay, I might be a very good person, a very loyal person, a very honest person in this lifetime, but there have been other lifetimes where I have been just the opposite of it. So it is like living different um shades, and then getting to understand why something happened, and then being empowered to accept and and make peace with all the various shades of who you have been in other lifetimes. So that is one thing that happens time and again across, sessions that I have done, or the workshops that I have been facilitating. Like recently, there was a workshop where a girl had come who has been abused by her biological father in more ways than one. So there was a lot of bitterness, a lot of angst, of course, around this relationship. And when she did the workshop, she saw what she had done to that soul in another lifetime. And she was also shown how much of the work between the two has got completed, and then what is the way she can complete the remaining chapter with her father. Heartening to see was the fact that somewhere it collapsed her reality of bitterness. It does not mean that she has become a doormat or is going to become a doormat for anybody, including her father. But the ability to see things from a different perspective changes the game for the client or for the participant. That's how I have happily seen this every time happening. So that is one uncanny similarity, uncanny reality that I keep on witnessing, that it collapses the reality of victimhood, and it also collapses the reality of trying to be a savior. So if you see, we mostly, like a pendulum, swing between these two roles. If we are not aware, if we are not careful, we are either in the victimhood mode or we are in the saviorhood mode. You know what? I have to take care of my mother. Only I can do this for my child. Or, you know, I have to be the friend for my friend all the time. Nothing good or bad about any of it. But when there is a compulsion and there is pain because of that compulsion, then there is a challenge. So what the access to Akashic records also does is it takes away the need to be a savior. Why? Because you understand, you get to see that each soul is having its own journey charted out. So if you try to save somebody too many times from the same folly that they have been falling into, you're actually not doing them a favor, because you are stopping that soul from learning and unlearning what they have come here to. So this also, when we access the Akashic records, they show us that what are our contracts, like what is my role in my mother's life, in my father's life, or what is her role in my life. And that gives a very different zone of knowing how to get involved with the people that we love. To what extent is that involvement healthy, and where it is getting into a zone of unhealthy um, unhealthy interference. So these kind of nuances also one can understand when one is accessing the Akashic records. So the thing is, whichever way you look at it and whichever way you explore it, whether for yourself or your relationships or any particular challenge that you're facing, the Akashic record keepers, the divine beings, are full of compassion. They have no judgment. They will not share anything with you. They will not give you information in a way which is harsh. The divine beings who hold the space for us, the records that they safe keep for us, these beings have never incarnated. The record keepers have never been born as human beings per se. They have never taken any incarnations. So they are in a very different zone, in a very different energy zone, so to say, full of love, full of compassion, full of understanding. And when you're working with the records, when you're doing a reading for yourself or for others, whatever information is given to you, it is given to you with a lot of compassion, and only when it is the right time. When they find that yes, you can handle that information, that particular bit of story, your history, which might not be that sweet to look at or that good to look at. In my case, like I have had a particular lifetime which has tremendous impact or which has tremendous karmic backlash in this lifetime as well as in many others before this. So this I was shown when I was ready to receive it, when I was strong enough to not judge myself for whatever I had done in that lifetime. So although the work started from 2014, but it is only in the last 6 to 8 months that I was given the finer details of what had really transpired and therefore what I need to do now. So I have been a part of the era where there was Nazi movement and there were killings, and we know whatever it was. So I was a doctor in that lifetime, and not surprisingly, I am born into a family of doctors even in this lifetime. So on my father's side, there are a lot of doctors. And at one point in time, even I had contemplated becoming a doctor, but then I did not go that route. I chose to become a CA. Now I understand why, because there is a lot of history in becoming or being a doctor. So in that lifetime, I was given a choice of either doing what they wanted me to do or to see my family getting annihilated. Now, good, bad, ugly, I chose to go ahead and save my family. Wise choice, unwise choice is a different subject matter. But it was not a very happy lifetime. So I ended up doing what was not okay. My family was gone, and I had a very painful death. So there are memories that I have carried and which I have been guided how to walk through and heal. So a lot of the work that is happening in this lifetime of disseminating light or holding love comes from that lifetime where I did not hold my truth. I did not abide by what my inherent truth was. So in this lifetime, it is to help people understand their truth and align with their truth and live their truth. That has become the mainstream work for me now. So that is how things keep on coming back in different lifetimes unless we choose to heal it and kind of complete it. As I was saying that this is something which anybody can do. This work is not limited or restricted to an elite few only who can access the records. Of course, not everyone is meant to do it. Can everyone do it? Yes, if somebody wishes to, they can learn it and do it. But sometimes, unless the time is right for you and right for you, despite making efforts and despite having the intention, one might not end up doing it. Like I have friends who are very close friends and who want to learn this. Now I've been teaching for quite a few years, and every time there is some reason or the other, and they don't end up coming to the class. So now we laugh about it. We are no longer bothered about it. We just laugh and say, okay, let's see when it is going to get orchestrated. So the work can be done by anybody who is willing and who is meant to, is how I will put it. So there is no qualification that, oh, you have to be a healer, you have to be a meditator, or you have to be this, or you have to be that. No. If there is a willingness, and if you are meant to, or maybe if you have done it in some other lifetime, you will do this work very easily. It is not something which requires a lot of prep work. The reason is the prep work, if you're meant to do this, is already done in some other lifetime. Like I was facilitating a workshop today during the day, and one of the questions which often pops up in any workshop is, oh, today then we will be able to do a reading for ourselves and for others. So it's like, isn't it too good to be true? And then the guides share, and the way it is put across is, it's like you already have an installed capacity. Like if you walk into a new home and the electricity wiring is already there, all you need to do is switch on the main plug and you are on. The light is on. Likewise, since all of us have the Pancha Tattvas, ether is also one of them. And since the Akashic records are housed in the ether, by default, all of us are equipped to do this work. Not accustomed, but equipped to do this work. So when there is a genuine desire, aspiration to do the work, it is a switch on, and the divine helps you to switch on this ability and you do it. So yes, anybody can do it, and there is no prereq per se. What do you actually do or what do you really learn when you come to a workshop, or whenever you learn it? The way I have understood and worked with it so far is that you get an access to your own soul, individual soul record, which captures everything that you have done, not done, right, wrong, whatever. You also get an access to the ancestral scrolls. So we're all born into families, right? We all have a story, lineage wise too. So the Akashic records also helps us understand why did we choose a particular family to be born into. And that helps you to further understand the blessings that you're born into, and also the challenges that you are taking on when you have been born into a particular family. So the records, or working with the records, also helps you to understand if there are any oaths and vows that you have individually taken at the soul level, or if there is any curse, any specific gift and blessings that you have by virtue of being born into a family, into a particular family. Like in my case, both my great grandmothers had gifts. Like on my mother's side, my mom's grandmother could heal people. On my father's side, my father's grandmother could work with magic, as in she could communicate with animals, and there were certain other qualities, gifts that she had. So my soul would have chosen a lineage where there were certain abilities inbuilt into the DNA. So when you do the work with the Akashic records, you also get to understand what are the gifts that are lying latent within you, or what are the things that you can heal, not only for yourself, but in the generations to come. Because certain things are in the ancestral lineage. There are many things that happen. So it helps you heal yourself, like healing, not like a healing in a Reiki healing or in some other healing modality that we talk about, but it is healing at a very, very different level, and at the very core level. The soul heals. And therefore, you become more compassionate, you become more expansive, you become more wholesome. There are blockages, there are challenges that many of us face in different areas, be it money, be it relationships, be it even self-love. And again, the Akashic records can show you exactly where the trigger point has been, or what is it that you can do to address it. I keep on giving my examples because that is the most authentic way, or authentic source I have to share with you how the records, or working with the records, has transformed, or rather helped me make sense of my life. So as a CA, I have been reasonably, fairly successful, and I have had reasonable amount of wealth coming into my bank account. The funny part was, and not so funny part was, it would always, there would be an inflow and it would go. And it would go for different reasons, but it would not stay in my account. So from the records, I could figure out that there have been lifetimes where I have been a nun or a monk. So I am born on a Buddha Purnima. So I have been a Buddhist monk in many other lifetimes. I have been a nun in many other lifetimes. So there is a whole quota of oaths and vows that I've taken in those lifetimes to not accumulate wealth for myself, to not own anything. Till date, trust me when I say this, I don't own any property in my name. I don't have any sizable bank balance in my name. Now the reasons are whatever they are, but I don't have it. Now slowly I'm starting to build and go beyond it, because now I have revoked a lot of my oaths and vows from those lifetimes where I can generate, but the oath was that I will not hold it in my name, no personal wealth, no personal name and fame and gain. So what used to happen? Again, understand I'm sharing something very, very personal from my space, from the perspective that it will be understood from that zone. My ex-husband is a central banker, and yet there have been major financial messes he would get into. And every time I would end up bailing him out to the tune of around 1 crore or more. I earned, and I sort of like bailed him out from different situations. Do I grudge him that? As you can see, no. There is no grudge except an understanding that in this lifetime, since I had to pay my karmic debts, either it would have been in terms of money, or it would have been in terms of health, or a combination of both. So it happened in the way of the money and health issues of my parents. So when that has happened, it made me aware of the challenge that I had. And now that I have revoked, it has somewhere come to a point where I can now hold money in my own account for my own usage, for my own needs, for my own evolution, so to say. So that has shifted. The shift has happened because one, I could understand what the journey has been, and I could revoke those oaths and vows. So yeah, you are given ways, you're shown methods by which you can close a particular pattern, a particular thing. Because what happens when we say something in one lifetime, it remains in force till we revoke. It's like a contract, unless, and it is a irrevocable contract, so to say, or it will stay till the time you revoke it, kind of thing. So that is why I guess they say that be very careful with your words, because the universe is always in tathastu, so be it. Whatever you say is true, and true for you forever. So this is another major aspect that I understood from my journey with Akashic records as to why wealth will come but not stay and go, and how to break free of that pattern. Another thing that has played a major role in my understanding of human beings, and working more compassionately with people, is that um, there are many kinds of contracts that the souls have, and some might be interpreted as bad, wrong in the current context of society. So relationships especially can be an area where people have all kinds of situations, is how I call it now. I don't call it relationship triangles or whatever, because after doing the kind of work I have, I realize that sometimes a triangle or a quadrangle or whatever angle is there in the relationship is not because the people do not have any scruples or they are bad people. Sometimes there are relationships which are meant to be so that certain contracts can be completed. It's difficult. It's not an easy concept, or rather easy way of looking at things, where we are usually conditioned to look at things in only black and white. But the Akashic records also teaches you that there is no black and white per se. Yes, there is, but it's a whole spectrum of many different shades. So working with the records over a period of time has taught me that nothing is wrong or bad per se. There is a reason, and there is a season, and there are contracts which are meant to be honored in a particular way, and that particular way might be judged as infidelity, might be judged as whatever it will be. But what looks on the surface is not always the reality between the souls. So that's another big one that I had to learn over a period of time, because when I started off, I did have, to be very candid, I would have a judgment around, a little voice saying, oh, this is what the story is. But over a period of time, I've understood it. It's a story which has a much deeper layered story which one has to understand and help the people to get out of wherever possible, to the extent possible, the way possible. In fact, the whole counseling courses that I've done, or the counseling sessions that I do now, is an outflow of that, because it equipped me with the compassion, like Karpov was mentioned. Yes, it is all about empathy. It is about understanding the journey from the other person's point of view, and then empowering them to see what is the way out, what is the right, what is a way which is holistic for everyone. We also come with soul groups. We are also part of a soul group, a soul family. So we are never in isolation. So it's like the way a drama troupe unfolds different kind of plays and plays different roles in those plays. Likewise, in lifetimes, we also have a drama troupe, which is called as the soul family. So a soul group and a soul family. A soul family is a subset of the soul group. The soul group is much bigger jatha, much bigger group of souls. It can run into crores. So a soul group is approximately around 2 crore souls in one group. That effectively means that my maid can be from my soul group, my spouse can be from my soul group, and a lot of other people in my life, they can all be a part of my soul group, and we have chosen to play different roles, different things in each other's lives. A soul group usually will have some basic motto or some goal, which all the souls in that soul group is aligned to learn. It's like when you want to learn chemistry, you go to a group which is teaching and learning chemistry. And now it can be inorganic, it can be organic. So depending on what your choice is, you will join the coaching class, which is teaching what you need to learn. Likewise, a soul group consists of souls who have some common agenda. And therefore, they will come together, play different roles to help each other achieve their goal of mastering that particular aspect. Once the work is done, the soul can then go to some other soul group if they want to learn what that soul group has to offer. So somebody who is working on harmony maybe will be in a soul group where they will experience that a lot of disharmony perhaps and work through it. And then if the next agenda is to imbibe the quality of courage, so maybe they will go to a group where souls are working on that particular virtue or that particular quality. So soul groups are huge, and the soul family per se is a much smaller group, subset of that particular bigger group. So usually there is a set of 12 souls which are a part of the primary soulmate group, which means that they are the main characters who will keep on playing different roles in different lifetimes. So somebody who is my spouse in this lifetime might have been a parent, might have been a child in some other lifetime, or might be a teacher impacting my life in a big way. So the primary soulmate group is more cohesively constructed or more cohesively entangled with each other and more invested and vested in the growth and in the completion of the soul purpose of that particular soul. So there is again tremendous amount of contribution, tremendous amount of commitment to each other when you are a part of the same primary soulmate group. Now another interesting aspect that many people get into and can get stuck into is the whole concept of twin flame. There's a lot of romantic notion around the whole concept of twin flame, and the way I've been able to understand it and the way it has been taught so far and seen so far is when a soul is emanating from the source, it actually divides into two parts because the soul again wants to experience whatever its agenda is from both the perspectives, the female perspective as well as the male perspective. So the soul divides into two parts. One is the masculine and the other is the feminine, but not necessarily that the masculine part will always have a male gender in the physical reality and vice versa for the female part. So the whole purpose is to complete the journey, the agenda items from both the perspectives, and they again can bump into each other in a lifetime in different roles, not always in a romantic partner kind of thing. It can be any kind of, uh, it can be father and child, as in parent and child. It can be as twin sisters. These are a couple of things that I have gone through or rather come across, I should say, where mother daughter, father son, twin sisters, then then of course as a couple. So there are many different formats in the twin flames can come together, not in all lifetimes, but in some lifetimes where they have to expedite the journey for each other. So that is another interesting aspect that Akashic records can help you to understand your journey with another soul. That is it a twin flame journey? Is it a primary soulmate group journey? What are you supposed to receive and give and contribute to the other individual's journey? So all of this becomes very clear, and then you can get guided so that you're not kind of floundering in the darkness, trying to make sense of the intense emotions or the intense attraction or the intense interactions that you have with a particular soul. Now, one more aspect that has been a very interesting thing to note is that exit points, like the Akashic records, can also help us understand and make sense of the exit points of a particular individual. We can access records only of those who are in the physical form. At least the way I have learned it from my teacher, I can do readings only for people who are above 18, who are like 18 years and above. People below that, I can't access their records because it is assumed perhaps that the free will is somehow kicking in only when somebody has attained the age of 18. Practically, how I see it is that at least when you are 18, you have certain amount of understanding about yourself, and you perhaps have more freedom, financial freedom, other freedom to own your journey in a better way. So the readings can be done only for those who are 18 and above. Somebody who is comatose or cannot give consent for a reading, we can't engage in a reading for such people, because again, the whole concept of free will is taken, considered quite sacrosanct, where accessing the Akashic records is concerned. The way my teacher has taught it, others might have different takes on it. I am no one to comment on that. Now also, different kinds of combinations happen where a parent wants to access their child's records and the child is 18 but might not be interested at all. So all kinds of combinations happen where one has to discern whether a reading should be done or not, because accessing the records is to be done with the conscious and free consent of an individual, not otherwise. Can the record show something very dark, very ugly, something that can be scary? Because sometimes clients who are going to get a reading done, I'm scared, I don't know what they will show. Now the divine beings are so compassionate kind, they will never show you something, or the client or anybody else, things that we are not ready for. They will not disclose, because it's like giving the primer of a 8th grader to a 3rd grader. What will that child do with the eighth grade, curriculum, when the child is sitting in the third standard? So likewise, unless we are matured enough and we are ready to receive something, the guides will not disclose to us something which we can't handle. So there is no room for fear or any kind of angst where the readings are concerned. Uh, when can we do a reading? We can do a reading anytime. So there is no fixed time that only you can do it in the day, in the night, or in the afternoon. A reading and access can be done of the records anytime. They don't have any fixed windows where you can go into the library and do the work, and not at other times. Exit points that I was talking about is sometimes when there is an unfortunate death, like I've come across certain challenges with parents where they have lost child at the age of 18 or even less, and it's a huge trauma for the parent. But when we get into the records, what is also realized is that there is a reason behind those exits too. Like in one case, the soul had already completed everything that it had to complete, the child who had exited. Now, in the records of the parents, what was shown is that it was a very, very evolved soul, which only needed a certain time period on Mother Earth to complete its karmic journey. And it did. And actually, that soul transitioned just jumping with joy. So it was like in a moment that person was gone. So the parents, of course, were devastated. But the mother, when we had the reading, shared, yes, what you're saying makes sense, because he was not like other kids. He never had any ambitions or plans for the future. He was always happy in the moment, always kept everyone happy. It was a very joyful energy that the child was. So he came to do his work, he came to give joy to others, and he left. So his work was done. Another case, another parent, around the same time, they had lost their child to an accident. And in their family, there is a pattern of early exits of children at times. Not always, but there is a pattern. When we went into the records, we realized that yes, there is a curse. There is a curse in the family lineage which needs to be healed. Now, this soul, which came into this family and exited 17 and a half years, and he was gone in a terrible accident where the driver did not get a scratch, but this guy sitting in the driver's seat was dead on the spot. So what was shown is this guy chose this lineage to be born so that he would have an exit point at a particular age by virtue of the curse which runs in the family. So on the face of it, what looks as a curse for the family was chosen, used by that soul to complete its karma and exit. So the Akashic records, throws up such kind of revelations, which is like, okay. And then it makes sense that, okay, this is what it is, not how it is looking. So a reading can take us into many different zones, many different realms per se. And each reading, trust me when I say this, is an eye-opener for me. Like I have been doing the readings from 2014. So it is a sizable period of time per se. But every time I'm invited or I'm given an opportunity of doing a reading, I do it as a privilege, as a pure privilege, because in which reading what will come up as a revelation for me, something which can help me grow, is like crazy amazing the way things happen. I think I have covered the basics that I wanted to share with all of you. There are quite a few messages that are there. So to answer that, to address it, I can answer any questions that you have, and we can see what else pops up through the questions. The messages were more about, okay, that it makes sense to them. So there is no particular question per se. Okay, Preeti has asked, okay, how you may be contacted. My number I can share in the chat. And what is the process to schedule an Akashic reading? Well, you can connect with me, and we can see what is a convenient time for all of us, for both of us. I mean, whomsoever is inclined. Sajani, you
Thank
can
you
guide.
so much.
I have unmuted myself. Rinadi, Umapa here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it something like past life regression? I mean, hearing you, that's what it made me think. I don't know.
Umaji, it gives the benefit of a past life regression, but it is not a past life regression. So I don't regress a client. I do not take anyone into a hypnotic state, or it's not a therapy session. So I'm not into PLR. Let me clarify that. It is not
Okay.
a PLR session. But what it does do is it gives you the advantage of understanding your past lives without again going through the trauma or the drama of it
Yeah.
in essence. But for some clients, it is necessary to go through that thing as in a PLR session to make sense of things. But when you get into an Akashic record session, yes, it gives you the advantage of a PLR session also, but it doesn't take you through the whole journey. No.
Okay. And I also found a lot of
Any other
similarities.
questions?
I found a lot of similarities in my life to your life also, going down the record, going down the memory lane.
Mhm.
So I connected more with you because we both are like, empathy, I should say, because I also almost 99% of what you shared of your life, I also went through.
Okay.
So maybe that's make me experienced, experience the experience. Experienced.
It definitely does.
Yeah,
Thank you. That was really fascinating, your talk. And I can see 2 or 3 hands up. So kindly unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Yeah, hi, ma'am. Yes, Reena ji. Harita. Here. Yes, Harita, go ahead. I just wanted to ask your contact detail, if you could just share. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah,
Should I
ma'am.
write it? Sorry, should I write it in the chat box?
Box, yes, I think that would be nice.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah. Please go ahead with the question that somebody had.
Question.
Yeah, ma'am. Since I have already done, like I said, I attended 5 of the Akashic reading by others. The
Mhm.
experience is like they ask us what we are going through. And at the end of the session, we get to know that same thing we have done. Like I said, it could be that the person who's harming me, I have harmed the person. So is it the same way wherein you ask the person what he or she is going through, or you just take an Akashic reading of me with whichever person I have an issue? So how is your Akashic reading different from others? And second is, like I said, there was no solution of the issue. So they did the reading. There were 2 or 3 Akashic reader I have consulted, ma'am,
Mhm.
and they did the reading. But after that, there is no solution. They tell me that there is some vision. What they say, it's like they are the people who tell the Akashic reading for us. And after that, we have like I get to know the issue. There is an issue in past, so they're troubling me now. But solution as such is not given. Only one Akashic reader told that she's doing a healing, but I didn't find any changes as such in my whatever
Okay.
sessions I have attended.
Yeah, I hear you, Harita, and I can't comment on how others do because each might be having their own way of accessing and working with it.
Yeah.
The way the sessions go with me is that when I connect with your records, if I am shown some things which are to be shared with you, I will share that with you. Otherwise, it's a question and answer format. So whatever questions you have, once you ask it, then whatever I am shown, I will tell you that, okay, this is what I am being shown. So supposing you say I have a particular relationship issue with a particular person.
Mm-hmm.
So if I am shown a past life, connect with that person, or a particular pattern that you have done, or there is an unfinished business with that person, I will tell you whatever I'm shown.
Okay.
Now, the next part of your question is like, is there a solution? Yes, there are solutions too, which the record keepers, the guides provide. And many a times, Harita, uncannily, what I've also seen happening, if somebody has gone to an astrologer, shown their horoscope, and have been given certain remedies. I am not an astrologer, I do not know remedies and anything. But sometimes the remedies that they have been given by the astrologer is exactly the same that is spoken through me. So if it is like, do this, I tell the client, see, I have no clue what it means and what it will lead to. But this is what I'm being shown, that do this, and it will close the chapter for you, or it will mitigate it to a certain extent. And the clients have told me, you know what, this is the exact ritual or puja or whatever somebody else has told me to. So, Harita, solutions are shown. When we ask for specific solutions, they do provide. And if something is meant to be gone through, then that also is very clearly shown that boss, ये तो झेलना ही पड़ेगा. इसका
Okay.
कुछ अभी इलाज नहीं है.
Yeah, I have two questions again on the same thing. One Akashic reader, she said she cannot read my Akashic reading. So, like, I consulted it, so like I'm having too much issues. So, my husband is the person who actually pushed me into this Akashic reading. So, one says they cannot read my Akashic reading, but the other reader did read my Akashic reading. And when I'm asking you this question, no, like you said, you don't ask the people the complete history. So, that's really nice, Reena, that you don't ask people the history and then get the reading done. That's where I was a little this wherein the reader literally asked me everything what I'm going through, and then the same thing they put it in a reverse mode. So where you're saying it's only the question and answer mode, that's really nice. So you will ask me what is the relationship you want, and you will resolve it. So that's something
I will,
very nice.
let me take a pause here. I am not the doer in any way. I don't do and I don't give any solutions to anyone. Whatever your guides, your records will show me, I will share that with you. As I keep on, in a very lighter sense, I'm only the courier guy. The package is yours. It is coming from you to you. I'm only a conduit. I'm only a channel.
Yeah, channel. Okay, so that's nice. That's the change what I'm looking for. Like what you said, that's really impressive. Because if you ask complete story, then we also have a doubt whether that's going to be true or not. Like my husband also, I was asking. She asked me completely, and then later on, she told me something. So yours is really nice. I would like to have a session with you.
Harita, I can't really comment on anyone. As I keep on saying, I don't know
Yeah, I
who is
understand.
accessing from here. I have no way of figuring that out. And very honestly, I don't even want to. So it is an individual journey. And again, I will say one thing here. Sometimes we go through different people also, because maybe there are contracts with them too that you had to fulfill by going through the journeys that you did. As perhaps a different take on this whole situation or scenario, but that also can be a reason.
Ma'am, what is the charges? All those things can you put in the chat, or we should have a private chat? If you can tell about your charges to all of us, it will be of help.
I don't know, Sajani, would you rather prefer that people connect one-on-one, or should I share here? Whatever is
Whatever
okay.
you're comfortable with. You can
Okay,
have it
I have
one-on-one.
no. Okay, I think it would be better if you connect. I mean, we can also figure out how long do you need. You need not even have a full session. I mean, it all depends on what your needs are. So I don't profess you come for an hour to me and you have to be there for an hour with me. No, that is not the way I
Some
operate.
ballpark figure may help people. Ballpark 3,000, 5,000.
So it is okay. Let me just say the figure any which ways. It's 4.5 that I take for an hour-long session. That is what the current energy
Quite
exchange
reasonable.
guidance is.
And are you in Bangalore, ma'am?
No, I'm not in Bangalore, and a session can happen online from anywhere. It does not need you and me to be in the same city.
Oh, that's
The
great.
workshops happen in person because we still have not been given the module to do it online. But per se, you can do the session anytime over a simple audio call. That's it.
Can you call out your phone number, please, ma'am? Because I'm not able to get the chat.
Okay, it is 98
98,
704
right?
95 603.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Welcome.
Okay, there are 3 more hands which are up. Kindly ask your questions.
There is Preeti, Ramesh, and Arun. So
Yeah, this is Arun this side. May I go ahead?
Yeah, hi Arun. Hi.
Hello,
Ask your
Reena ji.
question.
Yeah, I just want to ask, the based on the understanding, whatever with my limited intelligence and perseverance, that how to overcome this incarnation, reincarnation game. See, you will tell me I was last Janma, I was this year I am here, like otherwise, look, I want to get rid of this.
Arun, I should write a book and get some millions out of it. No, I will. No, on a
Based on
more
your
serious
whatever
note,
experience.
no. Whatever I have understood, Arun, is once my unfinished business ka jo saga hai, once my unfinished business is finished, I don't have to come back. So my agenda items have to finish. So whatever the soul has as an agenda item to experience, to understand, and to explore, till that completes, the saga goes on. Because every time you make a choice, there is a consequence. To answer your question, what I am being guided to say is, once you are in a zone of non-doer, when you really can understand the Aham Brahmasmi and also I am no one, when you are not the initiator of your karma, so to say, when you are just an instrument and the divine is working through you, there is no karma because you are not owning. But that lack of I am, do you understand how difficult that is? So if the I disappears, then there is no I am. And when there is no I am, then there is no karma because you are not creating anything more.
Okay. So how to know that how far I am from the finishing line?
So during the session, one can even ask, okay, how many lifetimes more or what agenda items I need to focus on. So it's like a GPS, you know. It also lets you know where have you come and how far are you to get to that end goal, so to say.
Thank you so much.
And does it help with death in this lifetime, ma'am? Does it tell us,
As in?
like the time or date of our death in this lifetime?
Meher, usually it will not give you a particular date, but it can give you a sense of the different exit points you might have come with. As in, the understanding that I have, the limited understanding that I have so far is there are many exit points that we come here with. And at each exit point, when we are nearing that, the higher self does a kind of evaluation to see whether the agenda items are over. If it is over, it will get out. If it is not over, it will wait till the next exit point. So most of us don't come with single one exit point only. There are different exit points which can become activated or become available to us. And if we have done our work, we are done with it, we exit. Otherwise, we don't.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Okay.
So, Reena, I have a question. Yeah.
Ramesh, you wanted to ask a question?
Yes. I
Yeah.
have a question.
Can I ask also?
So, my question was, one is, do you normally just need one reading session, or do you go through? Do you need many? It depends on the person, is it?
Absolutely on the person and the kind of quest they have. So there are people who just get one reading done and they have never come back. So either it has served them or it has not served them. I don't know. And there are many who come back who regularly do it. You know what the reason is, Ramesh? For them, it is a GPS. They keep on navigating and understanding. Okay, am I going off track or I am on track? Because the record keepers and the guides tell, you know what, you have enrolled for BCom, but you're sitting with BA students. At the end, boss, exam to BCom का देना है, पढ़ BA कर रहे हो, बहुत अच्छा है. So you know that kind of refinement is possible when you work with the records. You do get to understand that.
So it can give you breakthroughs in many areas like relationships, career, and
Absolutely, absolutely. Whatever you are willing to receive. The bottom line is that you have to be ready and willing to receive. You are willing, but you are not ready. Then there is no willing in the sense, in the head you are ready, but otherwise maybe you are not. You are not equipped for it right now to handle. Then they will make you wait some more. But yeah, they help.
And you mentioned a little while earlier that the soul, when it breaks away from the source, it'll normally there'll be a twin aspect, as in it breaks into two parts, female, to experience from both perspectives. So,
Yeah.
That means, does one keep? I mean, when you go through many lives as a soul, or maybe as half a soul in this case, you go through. So you go through both in male and female
Genders,
avatars, isn't it? Yeah, genders.
avatars. Yeah, yeah.
Right, right. And and when you, is there a time when you do actually meet your soul mate, so to speak? Is that what it is about, the soulmate business?
The twin flame business, because soulmates are many. There are 11 other soulmates. The primary soulmate group consists of 12 souls.
Okay.
So 6 male and 6 female, because everything is in two, in pairs. So yes, you do come across your twin flame, or you will come across your twin flame nearing your perhaps the final stages. Like Ramesh, in this lifetime, my twin flame is not in the physical form, because I am actually the masculine part of the twin flame, having a female journey and a female gender and the whole understanding from a different perspective.
Right.
Whereas the other half of me, so to say, the female, she's ahead of me. So she is not in the physical form at all. So it's a different journey. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was during a workshop I was like given this illumination that you do your job and you catch up with her.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Welcome, Ramesh.
Kulkarni, you'd like to ask?
We can't hear you. Yeah.
I'm done,
Hi.
ma'am. I'm done. Thank you so much.
I would like to ask, is it okay?
Go ahead, Soumya. Sumanna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this Akashic reading heal the physical ailments like BP, sugar, asthma, like that?
No, I wouldn't say that it can heal directly, that you get a session done and your BP will go away. I will not claim any such tall claims, because it will be highly misleading to say that. They might give you a solution to handle your BP, or they might give you some resolution that you have to work through. But I won't claim that, oh, you come for a session, I will cure your BP or your diabetes. No.
Asthma?
Anything. Like, I have myself been an asthma patient, okay? At one point in time, I used to nebulize myself thrice a day. I have been through that too. But then that was a journey, Sumana, and I had to make certain life choices to get out of it. The record showed me what was working and what was not working for me. But it was up to me to take that physical step to move away from a city or from a person or whatever was the major cause for it. So that onus is up to us. They can give you the path, they can show you the way. Walking is up to us. Healing happens at a very subtle level, Sumana. So if your asthma, supposing, I don't know what it might be, if suppose your asthma is triggered by your intolerance of a particular being, an individual in your life, and the reason is some kind of a grievance against that person. Now, if the session is able to give you a different context to the whole, perspective to the whole thing, and you're able to drop that grievance, maybe your asthma will be less severe or disappear. Who knows? But it's not something that I will go and say, you know what, come to me, I will heal. No, I will not do that.
Actually, here I just wanted to share, Reena, that
Hanji.
at least said when I did my Reiki, I did 2 courses because I didn't have time bringing up 3 kids, but it helped me a lot to overcome my sad pain, and even in my daughters, their menstrual pain, healing prayers. And we have a Thursday healing prayers club also here, where I am also active, and it has brought lot of positive results.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have experienced Reiki years back. That was my first, so to say, experience with the whole thing, with the whole energy thing. And what I'm just trying to put across is many things are possible with working with the Akashic records, but what will be possible for an individual, I can't preempt.
Yeah, we have to
It is
work
only when you work. Yeah, exactly.
ourselves. That is what it is all about. In fact,
Yeah.
we all got station done by Anand Baba himself. So suppose that is why maybe it was stronger. I don't know now who does really, because I did not contact anybody. My children also have finished doing offer, all 3 of them at that time. So I think that helped a lot, according to me at least, on being positive. And
Of
Reiki
course.
definitely helped me. Reiki is definitely, there is no 2 ways about it.
Umaji, one thing which I can vouch for from my own experience and that of my clients or the participants is this whole entanglement with the victimhood and saviorhood that can drop. If you're willing to drop that, that drops. And when that drops, half your drama is gone, no?
Correct.
And once half your drama is gone, there is bound to be some breakthrough because your bandwidth is no longer entangled in that kind of emotional upheaval.
Correct. I understand.
Yeah.
Because I also, a lot of our friend circle where we go for counseling for cancer and for visually impaired children and all that. That question, as you rightly said, always comes, why me? What have I done? That comes. But then understanding and admitting and be positive about it and, saying that, okay, this what is acceptance, it goes a long way, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This helps you accept things. Yeah. It does help you accept things.
Thank you.
Once you
Any other questions? Any more questions, anyone? No?
Thank you. Thank you for a lovely
Thank you.
evening.
So thank you so much, Reena ji. And now I request Mr. Ramesh to propose a vote of thanks, followed by the Loka Samasta.
Thank you, Sajani. So, well, Reena ji, where do I start? It was very interesting, the topic today. You've delivered it with a lot of equipoise and a great deal of inner strength that I can see that you've acquired over your experiences. And yes, it's true. We all, I think, probably start spiritual seeking and spiritual growth because of some kind of a situation that we have in our lives that we want a solution for. But this Akashic records has always been a very fascinating topic. And in fact, in the School of Ancient Wisdom, through Ma Manize, we were kind of familiarized with this particular lexicon. She would talk about the Akashic records and how everything that we think, say, and do is recorded. And probably our own inner, the Atma is the witness to it all, and nothing is lost.
Yes.
So it was a very nice analysis that you said the Akashic records can be like a Google of your soul. Who would not want to Google this kind, do this kind of a Google? But yeah, very right. I mean, I've been wanting to do this, something like this for a long time, to even get pointers in my life. I mean, we all do have, especially the ones who have come here, will have the questions like, who am I and what am I meant to do in this life? And won't we all want to know that? But like you mentioned, I think the right suitable time has to come for that. You also spoke about how the Akashic record safekeepers or guides are wonderful divine beings who are always loving and kind, which sounds so nice to hear. I mean, to reacquaint ourselves with the very thought of that. And they will only give you this information when you're ready to handle it. So you also spoke about many of your experiences from your previous lives, which has taught you many things, a lot of information that you got from these Akashic records, and that will help people understand our truth of why, the underlying thing is, it will help you understand the whys and whos of life. And you also mentioned that Akashic records are stored in the etheric, so anyone can do it when ready. And there's nothing that is wrong or bad. It's just that there's a reason, a season for everything, and one moves on when one learns their lessons, which I think is an important aspect. So, and you also spoke about exit points, which are quite fascinating. That I didn't realize that we might get more than one exit point. I thought it was kind of written in our lives that we have to leave on this particular day. But that's another fascinating thing. I mean, it just kind of puts things into perspective, that you come into a life to learn certain lessons, and once your lessons are learned, you can move on if you so wish to. So there's no need to fear these readings, as the guides these loving guides only give us what is, supportive, and will never reveal us information that is so confronting that it will undo us, and it can be done at any time once you're ready. So and another fascinating thing that you said was that every reading is a privilege, and that really kind of touched me when you said that. I could see that how deep you meant it, and another thing was that apart from that, you learn something new. When you do the Akashic records for each person, and many a time you get, you get messages sent to you through others' readings. Now that's quite fascinating. So thank you for throwing light on this topic. This is a much loved topic in the School of Ancient Wisdom, and I think probably one of the first people who have really kind of expanded on it. So I guess when you're ready, when I'm ready, these Akashic records will also be revealed to me. So thank you so much for what you did today, putting us in touch with something that we're all very fond of at the School of Ancient Wisdom.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sajani, and thanks each one of you for being here and for being willing to receive me the way I am and the way I'm not. I'm not a trained speaker or anything. So for your willingness to receive me in all humility, I thank you for having me. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the School of Ancient Wisdom in person.
Sure.
Definitely.
Sure. Would love to be there. Thank you. Thank you.
So on that note,
Samasta.
Yes, on that note, with an attitude of gratitude, let us all sit straight with our back, neck, and head aligned. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and let go. Let us all connect with each other and with all those around us, our communities, and to the world around us. Let us pray for peace. Let us also pray for all those community members, our loved ones, our family members who need support in any particular area. Remember their name and what you want the healing for as we do this Loka Samasta. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. I'd like to tell you that next Thursday, we have a very, very interesting person, a Sanskrit scholar, Dr. Anuradha Chaudhary, and she will be talking to us on mantra. She's really a fascinating speaker. I've heard her, and teaches Sanskrit at one of the IITs, I think. So please tune in, same time next Thursday. And also ask some of your friends to come because our platform can accommodate 1,000 people. So thank you, everyone. Goodbye and all the best.